Boris Johnson gives the EU a choice. Either there will be a free trade agreement in autumn, or there will be a no deal at the end of the year. This type of threat is not new. As with the negotiations of the Withdrawal Agreement, Boris Johnson is trying to put pressure on Brussels with a deadline. Since the Prime Minister ruled Downing Street, ultimatums have been a recurrent theme in the Brexit talks. But this time the EU should be warned. Boris Johnson should be serious about it. He will almost certainly meet that deadline and detach his country from the European Union at the end of the year. And there are at least 3 reasons for that. Johnson is under such pressure internally that the Brexit discussion, as a distraction from the corona crisis, suits him quite well. While the Prime Minister appears quite disoriented in the fight against the pandemic, he can present himself as a confident head of government in the negotiations with Brussels. His Conservative Party is thirsting for the tough Boris to return, who leads his country with eloquent determination. Boris Johnson is so battered by his mistakes in the corona crisis that even Nigel Farage has reappeared. The hardcore Brexiteer wants to found a new party and position it against Johnson. From Farage's point of view, the exit from the lockdown in the corona crisis is too slow, and the exit from the EU even more. For Johnson, this means to be tough on Brussels to keep Brexit fans happy, even among the Tories. The second reason for Boris' rigorous course is money. In the transition period, Britain is still one of the largest EU net contributors, and this should end on January 1st. The UK no longer wants to pay billions into the EU budget, which is set to grow even in the future. But one small side comment there, they are net contributor, but the amount they pay is not that big that the others, and especially Germany, would not be willing to take over their share. Thinking about that, we are willing to pay 135 billion for Italy just for the pandemic, of about 6 to 8 billion a year, will not make Germany have the EU crash. But more years of, let's say, useless negotiations, as they are at the moment, would not only be more expensive financially for the UK. The British would also be still bound on EU regulations, which from Boris' point of view are a brake on growth, such as the General Data Protection Regulation, which discourages investors, or the strict competition rules that prohibit government subsidies. And then there's a third reason to close the negotiations with Brussels this year, or just let them run against the wall. Johnson can hide the damage from a hard Brexit behind the damages from the corona crisis. The Bank of England anticipates the deepest recession in more than 300 years just because of the pandemic. And so at 1st of January, no one will be able to say what part of the economic damage is from Brexit, which part is from the pandemic. So it looks like Boris Johnson is putting a double shock on his country, Brexit and Corona. And he even accepts a pending disintegration of the United Kingdom. The regional governments of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland don't only consider a lot of Boris Johnson's Corona policy wrong, they have also advocated longer Brexit negotiations. So what remains is only the hope that the Prime Minister remembers a bon mot from the talks about the withdrawal contract. At that time, Boris Johnson described a failure of that negotiations as a failure of state art. And he was right about that. And if you want to know more about European politics from a German point of view, I put my next video right here on the end screen. Click and enjoy. I'll see you there. Viel Spaß!